Shitballs! Batman? No, not Batman. Avengers was fucking awesome! Ah! Okay, welcome back to another, well, second review of my movies part of my thing I do. And if you haven't guessed, we're talking about Avengers Infinity War. And before we start anything, oh my holy god! This was insane! This is the mother of all superhero films. This is how it is done. 18 films in the making, 10 years, we're here, and oh my god, Marvel, you are marvellous. But yes, let's just crack on with a true spectacle. Wow. Okay, don't even know where to start. Saw it yesterday. Only managed to get around to it today, so it's just been going round in my head, and it was just, and I'm going to see it again in a couple of days. But where to start, really? I just want to start with saying it was incredible, and if you haven't seen it, I think there might maybe spoil. I'm going to say there's going to be a couple of spoilers in this. It's more going to be a discussion and a review than me just saying what's, yeah. But it was, I purposely stayed away from quite a lot of trailers. I think I only seen the first one that came out, and that literally blew my mind. So I went, you know what, I want to go in with this and be new to it. And thank God I did. I don't know how much they spoiled in the other trailers, but I was shocked by everything I saw. This really was possibly one of the, I should probably keep this to the end, but I don't even care. If you're watching it now and you haven't seen it, go see it. There's a reason it's a big film. There's a reason it's 18 films making. It's insane. Go watch it now. You will not. Oh my god. I can't wait to go see it again. This film was unbelievable. And should we actually get on to talking about the film instead of me just schoolgirling it and going, ah? Okay, first let's talk about the build-up. This film has been a true work in over the years. It's been, as I said, 18 films. This is 19, I think, and it's been 10 years since Iron Man 1, when Tony Stark first suited up. That's what kicked this whole domino effect, this saga, this series, this epic universe off. They weren't the first to create a universe within itself. I'm pretty sure Harry Potter did that way before them, but they're the first to make it this massive, this epic, the scale. What's the word I'm looking for here? Great, but this film, it's been so long in the works, and a lot of hype was, a problem was, can it live up to what we're expecting? Because us as fans, us as comic book geeks, us as Marvel fans, us as just film fans, we often overstep ourselves. So we think, we get so overhyped, we've got all this in the back catalogue, we think they've all been amazing, most of them, and we are putting so much pressure on the studio, the writers, the directors, all of that to make this film up there where it's literally godlike, and we put all the pressure on, and the only problem is, even if it falls a little bit short of that, we're the first ones to go, oh, it wasn't that good, blah 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 blah, they should have done this, should have done this, should have done this, should have done this. Do you know what? They knocked this out of the park. But I'm serious, this is the best Marvel film to date. Fuck. It is. I'm sorry, it's just the scale is unbelievable. The first Avengers film was massive. The second Avengers film was pretty big. Wasn't as good as the first, but this one, oh my Jesus Christ, it was insane. The scale, is everything that happens in it, it's just, I wasn't expecting it to go the way it did. The stories were all cohesive, and they were deep and meaningful, and the characters knew each other, but when they didn't know each other, they got... I think we should start with the big man himself, Thanos. Right. Marvel's always had a little bit of a problem with villains, shall we say. They've always been a bit lackluster, and the best villains have often been the best villains have often been the anti-heroes, more like Loki. He's probably been the best anti-hero villain they've had. I know they've had good villains. Vulture was a good one. I did like Michael Keaton, but Vulture was very good in Spider-Man, but Thanos really was the one thing they did. Obviously, they've built up. He's been in the back of everyone's mind through all the films. Oh, there he is, there he is, there he is, there he is, there he is. Since the start of the Avengers, at the end credits in Avengers 1, where he turns around in the chair and goes, yes. He's always been there, and he's been such like a massive icon. Like, how do they do him justice? Joe Brolin, amazing as him. Couldn't think of anyone better to play him. But they did the one thing I really wanted them to do. They humanised Thanos. He wasn't just some douchebag who went, do you know what? I'm going to take over the world. I'm going to kill people because of... Why not? Because I'm a big bad man and I've got a big golden glove on with some stones on it and I'm just going to be a dick. No, they didn't do that. They proper humanised Thanos. Like, throughout the film, you actually feel for him. You see what he's been through, what he's given up. The sacrifices he's made, and in his... Oh man, he's a mad titan. He thinks in his head he's doing the right thing. They go into detail in the film why he does what he does. And do you know what? It does, on a horrible level, it does make sense. So he's not just an empty, hollow villain. He's just more powerful. He has real meaning for what he's doing. And he generally thinks he's right. Very much like Loki thought he was the rightful king of Earth, which he wasn't, but... That's another film, but he really did, and he does tug on your heartstrings a couple of times. Him and Gamora, there's a lot more chemistry there than you ever think before, and a couple of times you're like, oh my god, this guy's had it tough. He's not just, you know, a big purple man with a weird chin and a big gold plated armour. He's deep, he's complex, he's got reason to do what he's doing, and it's very, very, very amazing to see that in a movie villain, because they don't often get it. Yes, they get screen time, but they never get that proper oomph that they need. But in this, they really did, and he was more than a worthy adversary. As you all know, if you've seen this film, I did say spoilers, but he kicks the crap out of everyone, pretty much. And, well, he wins. Plain and simple. Let me just check this is recording. Yes. Because the one thing people were debating was whether... Is it because in the comics he does win? He has plenty of stories where he does lots of other things, but everyone was concerned, are they going to have him win? Or are they going to have this film, it's a big build-up right at the end, they all come down, team up, and he's done. But they didn't do that. They went, do you know what? The Avengers, they're scattered. You've got Captain America and Scarlet and all that over there, and you've got Tony Stark and all that over there, Hulk's AWOL, Thor's up after Ragnarok, and even when they come together, it's still like, oh, no, do you know what, you're not enough. Boom, you don't win, you lose, and they do. They lose a hell of a lot. This film is non-stop action, is probably one of the best things I can say about it. From the opening scene, it cuts to, well, the remains of Asgard and Thor on the floor, and Thanos is just standing there like, yeah, right, he's already got the one from the Nova Corps, the power stone, and he's like, right, where's the Tesseract? And I loved Loki for what he did. I thought he was going to be the little mischievous guy where, oh, here it is, and then last minute he goes, oh, here you go on then, let me rule by your side. But no, he stands by his guns. There is a bit of trickery, obviously there's a lot of trickery. He is the god of mischief, isn't he, really? So at the start where he's like, but we have a Hulk. And then all of a sudden Hulk, boom, comes running in, sort of beating down on Thanos, and then they're like, oh, no, let him have his fun. And then Thanos just kind of turns and the Hulk's like, oh shit. And then Hulk gets his ass handed to him by Thanos, and boom. You know what happens if you've seen it? You know? But from the start, so we start with Asgard's remains, they're gone. We've already lost two big characters there. It blows up, we think we've lost Thor. We know we haven't lost Thor, but Heimdall then gets rid of the Hulk, sends him to Earth to warn the others. It's just, there's so much that goes on in this film. Then we pan down to Earth, and then obviously we see Tony. He's been the main protagonist in the Marvel Cinematic Universe since day dot. He's from the first movie. He started it. He's going to essentially end it, I think. But they all get together. You got Doctor Strange meeting Tony. They have the banter because they're both douchebags, aren't they? Let's be honest. And they have the bit of banter, and it comes to the first battle in the town. And there's this weird wizard guy, and Strange is like, right, I've got this. And then Hulk's like, no, he's like, no, you have it, Hulk. You have the big one. He's all right. But Hulk's not coming out because Hulk is a bitch in this. Hulk got his ass handed to me. He's scared. So he ain't coming out. And then obviously Tony, let's talk about Tony for a second. In this film, he is unreal. His new suit is... Because I like the fact that because he's been in it for so long, they've been able to just get so comfortable with him. Because if the first Iron Man came out and he had like the suit made out of nanotechnology, like almost a bit unrealistic. But now, because he's so well established, you could give him anything now, any of his armour, and we're like, oh yes. Like his new armour is sick. It's like made out of nanos, it just grows on him and then it moves, and he's just badass in this. Oh God, I don't even know. This film is just, I generally could talk about this all day. Okay, so we go from obviously the fight in New York. It then takes them off into space, and you've got one story going off in there, and then we go over to Scotland with a Vision and Scarlet Witch, and then something else happens there, and of course we meet the man with a beard, the man with no shield, Cap. He's back with Black Widow, Falcon, and them, yeah. And obviously I don't know what to call them. I think the other side of the Avengers, because obviously after Civil War it's all up in flames, really, isn't it? So obviously that's happening. So we've got the children of Thanos, which I'm very glad again that they weren't just throwaway characters. They weren't just meh, you're done. They were real. They were very strong. They were putting the Avengers right on the limit and kicking their ass essentially. So we've got a lot of the story is based around the Vision and what is on his forehead, and it's just about trying to save Vision, but destroying the mind gem, and it's all interlaced. So obviously it's a very hard situation where they just like destroy it, and they're like, no, you've got to survive because you're the Vision. The action scenes in this film are truly astonishing. That's one thing I do have to say. I've never. I think Ragnarok was one of my favourite Marvel films until this came out. I think Ragnarok was my favourite Marvel film until this, because the action was sick, had good time, it just epic, and this just it knocked that out of the park. Every other scene, it's just like, oh my, where did they get the budget for? Well, we know where they got the budget from because they're Marvel and they're minted, but every fight is just massive, and it's got the characters and it's got that. The fight scenes are unbelievable. They're not only deep and meaningful, but you feel like there's real grit in them. You feel like there's sacrifices that can be lost. Something will go wrong. It's going to go wrong, and it does. Numerous times, something happens. You're like, oh my God, what am I watching? This is a Marvel film. I should be seeing this, but it does. And it's because the writers have really just got in there and you're like, this is Infinity War. We're going to give them what they want. And the action is truly incredible. Like I was on the edge of my seat numerous times. I think from the battle in New York, which was in any other film would be quite a good battle, but in this it was just this much. And then you go to the battle on Titan, which is massive, which is with Strange, and that was. We'll get back to that scene in a minute with the old Star-Lord Sitch. But then you've got the gigantic battle at the end where it's just this like full-on Braveheart but with robots and demons. You make your mind up on that. Does that sound good to you? Yeah. But coming off the back of that, it's not just a smash and grab. It's not a hack and slash. It's not just let's put loads of well-known characters into an arena and have them fight because that's what people like to see. But there's real emotional depth in this film. Like I never expected the depth from Thanos and Gamora. That really did get to me. And then obviously from Gamora you get Star-Lord, and then from Tony you get Pepper, which nobody cares about, but she's there. Forget Pepper. From Tony you get Peter Parker, you get Spider-Man. Them two are close now. They see like it's like a father figure, and then you feel real lost when something actually happens. You're like, there's actual stakes here. That's what I loved about it. There was actual stakes when Stakes are real and you feel it, and then when because you can kind of tell that it's not just going to be a standard superhero film where they'll get beat up a little bit, but then they'll bring it back and then they'll win and they'll smash the gauntlet. You can kind of tell from the get-go that's not really going to happen because of the way things are going about. But the emotional depth is really impressive in this from everyone. Nobody, I wouldn't say anyone's lackluster. I couldn't point out a character went, do you know what, you could have done better, or because there was the problem that there's so many characters. I don't know how many, 20 odd characters, superhero characters that needed airtime, but they understood that and they established who was the more important. But even then, they were all quite evenly distributed. You had your primary characters which had their main time, so Tony, Strange, Cap, and then you got the secondary characters, and then obviously the tertiary ones, such as, I don't know, War Machine. I mean, he's cool, but he doesn't really do a hell of a lot. But he's still there, and he's still on screen, he still gets his airtime. Every character is established, every character has its place, and every character does their role perfectly. And oh my god, Thor, you are even more badass in this film than when you were in Ragnarok. And then coming from the sadness and the depth that they have, the humour, they've really, really brought the humour into this as well, and it wasn't cheesy one-liners that were just dying. It was just, they were real laughs. I was cracking up loads throughout this film, and it's good how they can go from such dark, from moments where I generally thought I was going to cry a little bit. I generally had tears in my eyes nearly at some points, but then to go from that to pissing my pants with laughter about like Drax and Thor and Star-Lord, oh my god, that was a hell of a meeting with, obviously, the Guardian. The Guardian saved Thor, and he's on the table, and they just stood admiring him and just complimenting. Obviously, we all know Chris Hemsworth is a hell of a man, and Thor is even more of a man. And they just all stood going, "Oh my god, it's like a pirate and an angel had a baby. He's beautiful." And then obviously Star-Lord's like, he's like, "He's so muscly." He's like, and then they're just like taking the piss out of Star, saying, "No, you've got a bit fat," and like, "Oh, you got a bit of a double chin and you're a bit of a belly." And he's the whole time in the background. Because obviously Chris Pratt's a funny guy. He's in the background like, and while Gamora's like touching his muscles, saying, "Oh my, his muscles feel like." He's like, "Stop touching his muscles." And even when they wake him up and they start talking, Quill's he's very not the alpha male in that situation. He feels very intimidated, so he's talking, "You are not taking my ship." And like, "Peter, are you putting on a deeper voice to match his?" He's like, "No, I always talk like this." And then Thor's like, "You mocking me?" He's like, "No, you're mocking me." It just works so well because, well, see, Ragnarok gave Thor a whole new lease of life, and he proper made him funny, like a fish out of water, and he proper like humbled him in this as well, because when you learn what he's gone through, he's literally lost mum, dad, brother, sister, I mean, friends. Thor's had it, and she does get back, but it was a hell of a. The humour in this really works. It just does not miss a beat. Every joke lands, every joke is well placed, and every joke gets a laugh. Even when they're not practically making a joke, this humour still comes across. It's like, no, this is a Marvel film. This is a colourful, this is vibrant, this is fun. This is what it's about, and it's just so fun to watch. It's so incredible to watch, and fun to watch, and emotional to watch. I can't give it praise enough. Quickly discuss Thanos and his Infinity Gauntlet, because I never thought, personally, I thought, okay, this film, because we all know there's going to be another film. So like this film, he'll get, I estimated three. The two he had in the trailer, and then he'd get another one, and then obviously he'd get the Vision one and all that in the next film coming up. But no, he went and did it. He went and got every single gem. He got them. Bish, bash, bosh, 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 boom, done. Why does this keep doing that? But no, he gets every single one, and they're all fought. Each one is this not handed to him. Essentially, you don't see him win the Power Stone, because obviously that's on is it Xander? No. Xandar. He gets it from the Nova Corps, which I imagine was pretty easy for him. And every single one is pretty much fought for one way or another, and he wins them. And let's be honest, the Soul Gem, it was the one that nobody knew where it was. There's theories that it was in Nebula, it was in Heimdall, it was in Adam Warlock, but no, they went through a totally different way of thinking about it, and the Red Skull had a brilliant cameo. I was not expecting to see him whatsoever. That was very awesome, but I didn't quite understand. It worked. I liked seeing him. It was brilliant because he did just disappear and that was it. But the Soul Stone, and that was one of the bits that really did hit home when Gamora's laughing at him, going, "See, the universe is laughing at you. You don't love anything," and he cries, and she goes, "Oh, a fake tear," and the Red Skull's like, "It's not a tear for him. It's a tear for you." And she's like, "No," and Daddy kills his daughter. That's essentially what happens, and this is pissing me off. Daddy kills daughter, and he gets the Soul Gem, and he eventually gets all of them, and we all know how it ends with it. Okay, and where we wish we're going to now. So much I've never seen a film I want to speak to as much about it than this. The fight on Titan, where Tony is with Star-Lord, he's with Doctor Strange, and they're all kind of crack. And Spider-Man. Spider-Man's new suit is bloody awesome, by the way. If you don't like spiders, it's not great. Got massive spider arms come out of it, but it's very cool, and it's just so Iron Man, it's unreal. But obviously they get to Titan, and they're like, Tony he kind of consoles in Strange, where everyone's pointing, "Tony, what to do? Tony, just stop." And he's like, "I don't know. Okay? Leave me alone. I don't know what to do. He's been in my head for 6 years or something." And you're like, "Oh shit, really?" He's like, "I don't know what to do." And to hear someone like Tony Stark admit that he doesn't know what to do, it's quite in depth. It's like, oh god, it's that you're the point of, you're front man. You're the guy who leads the pack. You should know. And if he doesn't, and he's like, "Do you know what? If he's expecting to fight us, let's take it to him. It's the least thing he's going to expect, and that we may have an understanding. We might be able to beat him." And then we get there and we see Strange kind of sat there doing all his blah, 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 looking into the future, and they take him on. And this is obviously where you get the poster picture where you got Thanos going, he just throws a bloody breaks up the moon and throws the rocks at everyone. But obviously they're giving him a good fight, trying to fight as much as they can. But at the end of the day, they are fighting Thanos, and then it's really going down. But they get to this was the one point that I didn't quite like of the film. It was very much. I understand why they had to do it, and I understand that it gave it more gravitas. But if it was you in real life, you're like, no, what? This wouldn't happen. But they obviously had to do it to kind of give it some more progression, because they couldn't have it end there. Like, they're all fighting. Strange is pinning him down. Was there Strange pinning him down? I think Strange is kind of pinning him down. Drax has got one arm. Iron Man's got the other. Spider-Man's got the other. You've got Mantis on top calming him down, and Thanos is there. He's crippled. He's on the floor, like not really knowing what to do. He doesn't know where he is, and they're yanking at his gauntlet to get it off. And the whole time you're like, I know exactly what's going to happen. And Nebula's standing there watching. You're like, I know what's going to happen. They can just about get it off, and he goes rah, poof, and beats them all. But instead, they're getting off the pull. You can see Peter's just about to get it off, and then it cuts to Star-Lord. He's like, "Where's Gamora?" And then he's like, "She's dead." And he's like, and he telling you, no, and then he just starts wailing on him and starts punching him in the face, which obviously wakes him up, throws Mantis off, and just completely destroys the whole operation. They literally had it off his heart. If they had got it off, they'd have won. But I know Peter came in. I don't know. He's just snapped, and it was a little bit stupid. It's probably the one point of the film, and that's saying something. It's the only this much of the film that I didn't like. Okay, I understand it. I still quite liked it. It was quite good to see that all happening, but logically, like, it shouldn't have really occurred. Come on, Star-Lord, keep it out. Everyone's here. Everyone's working hard. You should not have done that. But that's one of the only points that I can make. But that fight was just insane. And then coming on to, I think the bit got me the most. I said the bit with Gamora got me. This bit, my heart nearly fell out my arse. I was generally just thrown to pieces, and like, obviously you see that they're fighting, they're going toe to toe, everyone's just they're giving it 100%, and Thanos is just smashing them through. And then you see Tony's last man. He's like, right, let's fucking do this. His suit's a little bit damaged and he's going through it. He's battering every punch, he's blocking and countering and trying to do something new, and his suit's morphing, and every time he's getting hit he's losing bits of his suit, so you see it moving around his body. So if he's going for a punch, it goes, comes up one arm and hits him, and it'll move to his left arm, and then it's so cool to watch and it's so insane. But he really is giving it us all. He's full throttle. I am last man, I'm taking you down. And you see it's getting there, he's getting there. You see him, and he produces like a knife, and as he goes to lunge it, he gets caught, turned around, and oh my god, I've never been that. Just, it happened, and you see Tony get stabbed in the stomach, and you're like, oh, oh. And I generally think the whole was like, oh. I heard a big gasp, and I was just sat there like, oh my god. Because this is Tony Stark, this is Iron Man. He's my absolute hero. And you see him, and then obviously Big Thanos, he's not a total dick. That's what I quite like about him. And he's like, you fought well. Very noble, and once I destroy half this universe, I hope they remember what you did. And then that's when Strange, out of nowhere, goes, Stone, I'll trade you the Eye of Agamotto for his life. And Tony's like, no. But he's like, it's the only way. Which I think that's going to come back to when he looked into the futures. Like, how many futures did you see? And he was like, something like 14,800,000. And he's like, how many did we win? And he was like, 1. And the only thing I can think of is if that 1 was the only way that he had to give up the stone to save Tony for that 1 to come to fruition. I don't think it wasn't him giving up. It's like he knew that the only way to save was to give him this gem, and it had to happen. But that fight was insane. See that fight, and it was proper bare knuckle, and the stakes were high, and you saw in Tony, he was giving it his all. But then obviously it comes to the big old fight at the end. Obviously so much more happens. Let's hop on back onto the Thor train. I'll cut this bit and we'll just we come back to Thor, one of the coolest characters again in my opinion. Obviously we know that he's lost his hammer recently. Fucking dog. And they're heading, I can't remember what it's called. Obviously in between this you see Thanos gets the red ether stone, I'm not sure, I can't remember what it's called. Reality stone. And Thor heads off to this neutron star with a big rings around it, and he has to restart the forge, where Peter Dinklage is in there as a little dwarf, but a big dwarf. Tyrion Lannister is the universe's most proficient blacksmith, and he's got his hands, and it was quite cool. I mean, it's quite cool seeing Peter, but the problem is Peter Dinklage is Peter Dinklage. No, so if you see him as anything, you just see Peter Dinklage as it's not really added anything, but it was quite nice seeing him as a 25-foot dwarf, which is quite different. But you see, they kickstart a fucking sun because Thor is badass, and he forges Stormcaller. Is it called Stormcaller? It's the axe, which is then forged out of a hammer and an axe, and then it's forged together with Groot's arm, which is I think his wood is supposed to be one of the strongest things in the universe. I'm not sure, and that's cool as hell. And then we do come to the final fight at the end, where it is on Wakanda, back where this is the fight that should have happened in Black Panther, because Black Panther's final fight was so lackluster. This is what we were expecting. This is what we didn't get, but we should have got, if you get me. But this fight was tremendous. You see, this is full-on Braveheart. This is everyone out there. Front line, you've got Vision and Scarlet Witch out the back, obviously doing their own thing, trying to get the gem out, because she can destroy it, and it's obviously part of his face. They're all lined up. You see all these enemies coming, like thousands of these attack hound, dog, wolf, alien-looking motherfuckers, and they're like running at the barrier of the obviously Wakandan force field, and they're kind of getting through and getting cut in half, and kind of getting through and cut in half, and some of them start to come through by accident, and then they start shooting them down. But then they do start running around this perimeter, and then it's quite clever. They go, if we don't get them in here, they're going to circle around, get in somewhere else, and they'll get to the Vision. So, alright. So then, obviously, T'Challa's like, right, open up sector G17C, and on my word. So then you see them all kind of go, and you see mass come down. About this much of the wall opens, and they all start funneling through. And this is balls to the wall, smash and grab, bat and slash. You know what I mean. Oh my god, this is intense. But it's quite cool. They're all sprinting towards this wall to meet the enemy head on, like Battle of the Bastards style in Game of Thrones. And they're all sprinting, and it's one of the coolest scenes was you're seeing them all sprinting. Then obviously you've got T'Challa, who's kind of superhuman, and Cap, which is also badass and superhuman. So they're all sprinting, and you just see these two kind of both absolutely caning it away from the rest of the pack because they're so much faster. And they're both just completely sprinting ahead of everyone, just diving in, just start wailing on everything and battering the crap. And oh, it was so cool. Like, it was obviously not blood, but it was kind of like pus and stuff was getting knocked out, and then they're taking on these alien xenomorph looking horrible dogs. And I mean, they are outnumbered. They have got hundreds per one of them, and they're kicking ass, but they're also starting to take hits. And you've got Don Cheadle, is that his name? War Machine has one of the coolest parts. He literally flies up. He doesn't do a lot. He hasn't got a lot of dialogue, but he's the gunman, and he's up in the air, locks down. All these missiles come out, and he literally just drops nukes on them. And it's like, and he kills thunders until he gets knocked out of the sky. But the fighting is just so insane. Like, everyone is just getting like smashing the shit out. And obviously Thanos' children characters, they're still there, so they're fighting off. You got the General Lady from Black Panther, who was one of my favourite characters, was insane. And then obviously Black Widow, and then eventually you get Scarlet Witch comes down because obviously stuff's getting too bad, so she comes down and just rains holy hell on everything. And it's quite good because they do understand that they're in a comic book essentially. So like the General Lady just turns on and is like, what's she not been down here the whole time? Because she's just completely destroyed everyone, and they're all just going balls to the wall at fighting these beasts. But then obviously you've had all this big fight at the front. You've had War Machine level the field, they've all come back. You've had Scarlet Witch level the field with these big rollerballs of death. She's leveled the field. Then all of a sudden you hear, and then Thor comes in, and he's not just Thor of old. He's not Thor of the Avengers. He's not Thor of 1 and 2. He's not Thor of Age of Ultron. This is Thor of Ragnarok, the Thor, God of Thunder Thor. So he comes in, new hammer, and just lightning everywhere and just decimates everything. Because and then you see in the characters' faces like, oh yeah, we were losing, but now we've got a god. And because there's a difference. They're all mortal. They're all people. They're fighting. Whereas Thor is a god of thunder, and he has that gravitas when he joins the fight. He comes in swinging his new hammer axe and just decimates everything. His fighting and is insane. He just completely obliterates the field. But there is the one character that we have obviously overlooked a little bit is Vision, who's, in my opinion, is a little bit of a bitch in this, but I do understand from right at the very start he just gets stabbed straight through the chest. He's like, fuck. And the whole thing is about breaking him, getting him back, and he's just constantly on the run and he can't fight, and it's just, that's kind of what the crack is. And eventually at the end you see everyone's fighting, because after that big massive fight, everything goes quiet and Cap's like, everyone on me. So you see everyone kind of congregate near Vision, and then Thanos is just, he's up. He walks through, and mate, he's got 5 of the 6 stones now, so everyone's running at him, and it's just like a montage of slow-mos with that. You see the power stone glow, and someone just slam into Cap and throw him to the other side of the field, and then somebody else runs, he's like that. Like nothing's even phasing him now. And then eventually Scarlet, she destroys that Mind Stone. She's crippled, and he's like, it's okay, child. I understand. Obviously, he's a dad. He knows about Gamora. He's sad, and he just, but he's got the time gem, so he just, I quite like it how it's still the same, like all of the other ones. When he'd use it, he'd just go and it'd glow, and you'd see like a bit of purple flash out. But with the Eye of Agamotto stone, he still has to do the whole Doctor Strange thing. So obviously he goes like to do this. If you watched it, you know what I mean. But he does the whole hand motion for the time, and obviously Vision comes back. He grabs him, and whack, he's got all 6. But then it is one of the coolest scenes you see. You see all some Thor's like, because you're like, where's Thor? Thor? But he was cleaning up the whole field. He killed everything pretty much. And then he's just there. He's just killed Vision. He's standing there. He's got all 6 in his hand, and you see Thor up in the air just. Rah! And he's just screaming at him because he's just killed Loki. He still wants to rip his head off. And then Thanos is like, I don't know, I think he just throws a beam up at him, but he just throws the axe. The axe is spiraling through the beam, and boom, slams straight into his chest. And he's like, ugh! And he starts pushing it further into his chest, like, I told you you'd pay for that. And then he's trying to talk. What was he saying? He says, you should have aimed for the head. And then that's when, obviously, the apocalypse happens. Everything goes... and he disappears off to a very, very quiet, tranquil planet or plane. And there's baby Gamora there, which... I'm not sure what to make her. I think that she's a lot more to play in this. I never thought she was going to have... would have had this much of a big part to play in Avengers. But she's had like the biggest part, essentially in terms of Thanos' arc. And she's just, the final where she's just like, was it worth it? Or did you succeed? He was like, yes. And she was like, at what cost? And I think he says something like, all of it. And it ends, you see, what's it, something like 14 of the characters just meld away and turn to ash. And one of the most horrible ones was Peter Parker, Spider-Man's. I mean, all the rest are like, oh, I don't feel so good. And they kind of obviously turn to ash. But Peter, he's supposed to be like a 15, 16-year-old kid, and he's a newbie, he doesn't know what to do, and he's scared. And you see him like stumbling towards Tony, like this man he sees like a father figure, saying, I don't want to die, I don't, beg him for his life. And it's just like, wow, that's so intense, it's emotional, and he goes for it, and then you see them all just disintegrate, and it's just, oh, where do we go now? Because when they were speaking to Thanos, like, what do you do? What when you win? He says, I'll be able to sit down, look at the horizon, and know I've done a good job. And then that's how the film ends. I mean, it's there's no point. Thanos wins the Infinity War. He wins. He beats them. He's more than half of them are gone. You've literally just got the old guard left. You've got Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow, and it's a very somber ending. It's very peaceful and it's very calm. Like, it could be a bookend. It could be done. And that's what I quite like about it. I don't like those essentially 1 out of 2 parts. I think that's why they took it away from part 1 and part 2, because this essentially could be some standalone film. Like, Infinity War could have been the end. It might not have needed this, obviously, but it is going to lead on to it. But they haven't left it in a way such that it's an instant transition to that. It's not like, right, this is ended straight on just to point out the next part. Why do you keep doing that? Okay, then, well, there you have it. There's my... this was all off the cuff. This was just me talking. I haven't wrote a script or anything. This was me talking about a film that I wanted to get out my system again just to chat about. As I said, this is, in my opinion, this is the greatest superhero film ever made. I know it's very... The other ones would be, obviously, Ragnarok for me, and The Dark Knight, of course. Obviously, it was a masterpiece, but it's such a... I would say this is, hands down, the greatest superhero film ever made. And in fairness, it's a complete game changer for me. It's one of the best films ever made. And it's the way that they've made the film is unbelievable, because they've gone through such a long process to ensure everything is established, and they haven't tried to just shoehorn characters in where they haven't needed to be, and they haven't tried to rush things. DC, looking at you. But it was incredible, and if you haven't seen it, go see it. It's one of the most action-packed films I've ever seen. It's got depth, it's got meaning, it's got laughter, it's got absolutely everything in a film that you want. For me, it is an easy 10 out of 10. This film, other than one or two tiny points, as I said, the bit with Peter Quill punching Thanos and essentially stopping them winning, and like, it didn't even have any filler moments for me. Like, there was no points where you're like, oh, like this scene didn't need to be here, because everything was perfect for me. So this, for me, an absolute solid 10 out of 10. Cannot recommend enough. Really hope you like it. Probably waffled horrendously, but it's quite. There's just so much to speak about. I'm gonna go see it again, and I might even do like a more comprehensive review, or just natural review instead of discussion. So hope you like that. Thank you very much for watching, and make sure you like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, thank you very much, guys.